Well, good evening, everyone. Welcome to Stinchfield. We've got another batch of UFO files in President Trump's quest to find out and really release information and get to the point of transparency when it comes to these UFO files. We now have 51 more video files and 7 audio files. We pulled some interesting ones for you. This one was in 2023 over Lake Huron. Now, does that sound familiar? Look it. A U.S. fighter jet shoots it out of the sky. At first, you think it's shooting down a UFO. I don't think so. This appears to be the weather balloon that was released by that hobby club after Joe Biden let a Chinese spy balloon fly all the way across the country. Remember that? They shot this one into oblivion and weren't able to recover any pieces. That's what that is believed to be. The next video is pretty strange. This is this, I don't know, angelic style figure that literally changes direction against all rules of physics, jet propulsion, and out of frame. And I think one of the problems with these videos that we're getting is we're not getting any explanation as to what they are. This video was over Afghanistan. Take a look at this. As they come across here, you'll see that very strange black, now we go from angelic to demonic looking craft. The question becomes, what is it? We still don't get answers on any of this. Now, one of the issues is that we're not getting details. And I think that could be a real possibility that some videos may end up being doctored. Some may be real, some may be fake. There may be a psyop. We may get real information. We're not getting a lot out of these releases. This is Congressman Burleson, who's one of the premier members of Congress researching this stuff.
But just keep in mind, a lot of these videos have not been explained, but as you watch some of them, you'll see this. Some of them are clearly balloons or birds, but there's also some things in there that are very interesting.
So we're short on details. So as a #1 researcher of UFOs as a congressman, the biggest issue, of course, is the lack of details. Here's Burleson again.
Yeah, so MIT Lincoln Labs is one of the many federally funded research and development centers. These are quasi-private public entities that have a sole mission of doing long-term research on projects, and their sole client is the United States government. So this is the exact type of location that we should be searching for a topic like this. And that's why my team is aggressively pursuing information, documents, videos that are in the possession of these federally funded research and development centers.
Because we're just not getting the information from them. That's about to change. I'm going to get to that in a moment. The questioning of the UFO, UAP files has been going on for decades. The PSYOP, I actually believe, has also been going on for decades, and I think there's no doubt that one is being played by the deep state on the American people. But why the long game? Why decades? I get the short game. I get the short game. They want you to believe that there's an alien craft coming and we flood the defense industry with money. They scare you to control you. The short game makes a lot of sense, but decades, the long game doesn't make a lot of sense. Congressman Burchett, a great friend of this program, offered up this warning.
And I think there's going to be some misinformation they're going to put out, too, in this next group of files. Sure. Intentionally to screw us up, so which you'll obviously be able to see some of this stuff, obviously, that it is a balloon or some of this other stuff. I've seen some of these videos. I'm wondering why the heck they're even putting them out. But I think the cover-up continues, and I do believe the president and the White House, the good guys, so to speak, are having a hard time with a lot of our alphabet agencies and the deep state. It's classic deep state versus America.
It sure is. Well, we are getting word now that the president is very close to taking serious action. The author of the book, Catastrophic Disclosure, told me today that President Trump, at least his sources tell him, that President Trump is set to sign another executive order related to the UFO UAP research. And it would open the door for people to come forward. 3 things in this executive order we're being told. It would release all the scientists involved in this program of their NDAs, non-disclosure agreements. It would release them. That means they could come forward freely without penalty. There is possible immunity for anyone that may have been committed a crime or accused of a crime or even around a crime. Immunity in this to let them, of course, come forward. And thirdly, this executive order would make it a crime not to give up the documents. And it would be a crime forcing people to give up these documents. All a great move on behalf of President Trump. We expect that executive order in days, is what the sources are telling Kent Heckenlively, who is, of course, the author of Catastrophic Disclosure. This is a brand new book that is out. It gets into a very journalistic view, by the way, of the UFO UAP phenomenon, and it looks very seriously at the possibility the deep state is involved in the cover-up. There could be a psyop, but there's also some real evidence in here that things could be very real, too. I want to bring in the author of Catastrophic Disclosure, Kent Heckenlively, to the program. Kent, welcome back.
Thanks so much.
All right, your sources, as you tell it to me, this executive order, this is a big deal. Why in your mind? And look, I will say this, to your credit, inside your book, you basically call for some of these things, Kent. Why is this a big deal?
Yeah, there's a direct line from the end of my book, a memorandum that was supposedly given to Trump in the beginning of the second Trump administration, calling for these things. Now, I heard from my sources who called me saying that they'd been contacted directly by the White House, saying that this executive order is imminent within the next week or two. I think this also goes along with the outreach that we've heard to pastors. And so all of this seems to be very consistent. And, you know, today's release was actually a little bit earlier. As I understood it, this release was supposed to come at the end of the day, and they did it this morning. So I think the Trump administration is moving very quickly to get disclosure out there. And to Trump's credit, I think he's done more in these two releases than have been done in the past 70 years.
All right. I want to make it clear to everybody out there, you are a corruption guy. You're not a UFO guy. In fact, you're not even really popular with the whole UFO crowd because you raise questions into everything. Is there corruption going on here, Kent?
Yeah, I think it is beyond doubt that corruption is going on. Here's what I'll point to. In the first release of documents was one document that had been alleged for years by the UFO community, the so-called Twining Memo, which was written at the end of 1947 from the Chief of Air Force Intelligence to the Chief of the Air Force, listing these craft and their capabilities. You could take that information and put it on today's news, and it would be the same thing. Now, I know that there are some intelligent people in the intelligence community, so the fact that they've known about this from 1947 leads me to strongly suspect that they've been doing something in those ensuing 79 years to try and figure out what's going on with these craft.
All right. In your book, you make a connection to when it comes to Roswell, New Mexico, going back to all those years where there was allegedly a spacecraft crash. Everybody's heard of Roswell. That happened the day after the Japanese surrendered in World War II, and the government somewhat released this as well, which seems to me now, all right, well, we got everybody on war. The war is over. Oh, boy, Americans are going to be, now getting lackadaisical about things. Let's tell them we're getting invaded by aliens. I mean, am I far-fetched to think that was the plot?
Well, what I talk about in my book was Roswell happened in July of 1947. 2 years after the first atomic explosion. But the researcher Jacques Vallée and Paola Harris wrote a book in 2020 called The Trinity Crash, which suggests that there was a crash earlier at the nuclear site in August of 1945. So basically a month after the first explosion, one day after the Japanese surrendered. And that story tracks better to me as the government responding to something they never expected to see. So I think that Roswell is the second crash at a nuclear site with the Trinity crash being the first.
All right. So real or not real, those crashes?
Everything that I have seen suggests that they are real. I mean, I cannot believe that in 1947, the Chief of Air Force Intelligence would be writing such a letter to the Chief of Staff of the Air Force if they didn't believe this stuff was going on. So that letter does not directly address the crashes, but it seems to me that it's all part of the mix. And what I do in my book, as you said, I take a journalistic approach to this, which is I go back to the original stories. I mean, one of the things people don't realize is that the Roswell crash happens basically a couple days after Kenneth Arnold cites a bunch of discs flying over Mount Rainier in Washington State, starting the entire expression flying saucers. So there's a lot of weird stuff going on in 47. There's a lot of weird stuff going on in 45. Here we are in 2026, and I see pictures of spacecraft, some sort of ship moving in and out of clouds. This is high strangeness.
Yeah, it sure is. The other aspect or event that you get into in the book in pretty good depth, and again, it's Catastrophic Disclosure. It's out now. You can get it on Amazon, anywhere you get books. I'm fascinated by these Peruvian mummies. Can you explain to me why we should really be looking hard at the Peruvian mummies?
Well, yeah, I think this is fascinating. I think this might be some of our best evidence. So depending upon who you talk to, about 40 to 60 of these bodies have been uncovered. They go from relatively small, 18 inches, as I understand it, to human size. And they look like your prototypical alien. They've got 3 fingers, 3 toes. I talked to the Latin American scientists who've been examining it. My book has pictures of the CAT scans of these beings. They seem to be about 1,700 years old. They seem to show signs of genetic manipulation. Much more research needs to be done. DNA testing done in accordance with international law. But I think that this might be some of the best evidence we have, although I have to say, looking at today's release, I find it hard to say there isn't something in the skies that we don't know about.
So you were impressed with today's release, I take it?
Very impressed. In fact, that Afghanistan video is something that I discussed with Michael Schellenberger, and he told me that there was that video. And so today was the first time I've heard about that, but I actually detail that alleged video in the book, which, published earlier this year. So I find that video absolutely terrifying. I mean, yeah, I know it's probably not predatory, but it looks and acts like a predator to me.
Well, it sure does. Lastly, I'll ask you, Kent, what do you want people to take away from your book? And I urge them to get it. Hey, it's a holiday weekend. Go out and buy this book. What do you want them to take away from it?
There is definitely something there. People always ask me, do you believe? Do you believe? Well, I'm trained as an attorney, so I'll go where the evidence leads. But to me, it's an 85% bet, maybe a 90% bet after today's release, that there is something there that we don't know about. And the most likely explanation is alien.
Well, it's a fascinating book. I urge everyone to go out and get it. Kent Heckenlively, thank you for coming on tonight, as always.
Thanks so much for having me, Grant.
Absolutely, folks. There's the book, Catastrophic Disclosure, available in bookstores and Amazon, everywhere you can get books. All right, so this show's all about the conspiracy theories, I guess, because the next conspiracy theory is a doozy. By now, you've probably seen this video of Vice Admiral Robert Harward. He is a common fixture on this program. And you can see on his neck here that something is going on. Is it a mask? Is it makeup? Is it a shadow? All these questions have been asked online. We, if you could believe it, were set to talk to Admiral Harward tonight for him to explain what happened on Fox News last night that has 30 million views online. Well, lo and behold, He told us via text, "I wish I had a mask. That absolutely makes no sense to me about the video." But he just canceled. He said he got called into a national security meeting and canceled. And lo and behold, so many people want answers. Now, this is what has been spawned online because of this video.
This is all about the IRGC.
That is a mask. You want to know how I know is because I have one.
So, funny, that man has actually been on Fox News before.
They didn't even try to hide it, guys. They're not even trying to hide it.
Well, I'll tell you this. I know Robert Harward personally. He's one of the most decorated Navy SEALs in American history. The man is a war hero. I have no reason to doubt him when he says it makes no sense to him. But I was going to get him to pull on his neck and pull on his face and do all of those kinds of things. But instead, he went on Fox News today again. The video you saw was from last night. This is today.
It's Iranian rhetoric, the same thing it's been since they started. It's meaningless. They're either going to give up the material and a vow to not have nuclear weapons, or there'll never be a deal. It's very clear and simple. The president said that repeatedly, so Iran can talk all they want. But then at the end of the day, if they're not going to agree.
Now, he's buttoned up so we can't see his neck, adding to the conspiracy. And Fox News, where he did the interview, doesn't ask him about his neck. 30 million views on one video. Now I'm pushing on my social media, 100,000 views. No question about it whatsoever. Adding to the conspiracy, we are going to try to get him on the program Tuesday. He is a very good man, and I wish him the best. I hope he's having some fun with this, too, because if he has the social media, it's going to be going crazy. He'll have 1 million followers by the end of the weekend. All right, he was talking about Iran, and it is important that we continue this conversation. Marco Rubio, the Secretary of State, is now saying that the signs with the negotiations are, quote, a little bit of movement here. The reality is they're stalling. Okay? This is our Secretary of State.
We all would love to see an agreement with Iran in which the straits are open and they abandon their nuclear ambitions and so forth, their nuclear weapons ambitions. That's what we would all hope for, and that's what we're going to continue to work on, and that's what work is ongoing even as I speak to you now in that regard. But we also have to have a plan B, and plan B is, what if Iran refuses to open the straits?
What is the plan B, and what if they refuse? I hope it's finally finish the job, because I'm getting tired of all of this. The uncertainty is hurting the economy. It really, really is. I'm with President Trump. I'm impressed with his patience here, but I do think Iran is stalling. I want to bring in retired Major General John King to the program. General, welcome. You're not wearing a mask, are you, sir? I should ask you. There you go. He'll pull on it and everything. Thank you, General. I appreciate the sense of humor here. Not really anything funny going on with Iran. Where are we here, sir, and what do you think needs to happen?
Well, good evening, Grant. I think the time is running out. The president has been incredibly patient. I know he is exhausting every possibility for diplomacy, but the Iranians are masters at dragging negotiations out. They've played us so many times. So many administrations have fallen for this. And I think the president and the administration are running out of patience. As somebody who has fought against Iranian proxies in Iraq, we need to take the gloves off and finish the job, as you say.
All right, so, General, let me ask you, if the president called you into the Oval Office and he said, hey, how do we finish the job? What's the first thing you do? A lot of people talk about Karg Island and power plants inside Iran. What's your thoughts?
I think the key is coordinating with our allies. And it's not just the Israelis who are allies. So we have a great deal of allies in the Arab countries who really have a need to be able to change the behavior of the Iranians. And so we're going to have to go after those key leaders, the RGC leadership, who are the obstacles in any kind of agreement. I think the speaker, the foreign minister, I think they understand the reality that their economy can't survive. Their people are suffering. I would be a little leery of going after Carg Island because then we would have to end up rebuilding it. And I don't really think we can get all the effects of continuing to crush their economy by controlling the air and the sea as we are doing today.
Look, I know the American public, including myself, doesn't have a very big appetite for boots on the ground, but it seems to me it wouldn't take a lot to take Carg Island physically rather than blow it up. Send in some special forces and just take it and control it. Do you think that's an option on the table?
I think it's one of the options, but Grant, I would also say that we can achieve all the effects right now of controlling, but nothing is coming out of Carg Island. Their tanks are they're spilling fuel. They're going to have to shut down some of their wells. And once you shut them down, they're incredibly hard to restart. I think we achieve the same effects right now from the sea and from the air without troops on the ground. But I think that has to be one of the options. Our special operators, our Marines are incredibly capable. We also have a brigade of the 82nd Airborne in the area. So I think we got plenty of capabilities. I think the president wants to be able to look at the American public and says, I have exhausted every opportunity for diplomacy, and I'm being forced to go to this. Yeah. The bottom line is we cannot allow Iran to have a nuclear capability, period.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm with you, Major General John King. It's a pleasure having you on the program. Thank you so much for your service, especially heading into Memorial Day as we remember all of those men and women who gave their lives for us. God bless you, sir.
Thank you so much, Grant.
Absolutely. Pleasure coming on the program. And look, you could go to John's website, Vote John King. Roll that back. I think this is very important that I get this out because he's kind enough to come on a Friday. I didn't ask him about it, but he is running for election as Georgia's insurance commissioner. And look, go there, help him out. VoteJohnKing.com, VoteJohnKing.com. And I thank the general for coming on. I want to make sure I help him out. He's helping me out. Okay. By the way, if you're 64 or older, this is something you need to hear. Medicare is complicated. We all know that, but it doesn't have to be stressful. Chapter is the only Medicare advisor that compares every plan nationwide on the phone with you. They'll look at your doctors, your prescriptions, your priorities, and they'll help you understand what you actually have and whether something better is available. No pressure, no agenda. If you're already on the right plan, they'll tell you if you're not. Chapter will help you switch. Folks who found new plans with Chapter have saved an average of $1,100 a year. So here's what you do. Call 843-MED-HELP. Take 20 minutes and see for yourself. That's 843-MED-HELP. It's completely free, and I think you'll be glad you did. All right, Senate Republicans are yet again tanking another one of President Trump's priorities. We talk about that next.
The biggest selection of plants and trees, perfect for your yard. That's what fast growth.
Faith in Freedom by Real America's music artist, Celeste Kellogg. It's a powerful, patriotic anthem for people who still love God, country, and freedom. Rav family, let's send a message to the music industry that we are proud to be Americans. Scan the QR code now to download the song, or search Faith in Freedom on iTunes today. On, family, let's get Celeste Kellogg to #1.
Hi, my name is Tracy Elk with Arizona. I don't stink around in the kitchen when it comes to the news. I watch Real America's Voice, which always serves accurate and reliable updates that are on point with their amazing hosts. So don't find yourself in a pickle by tuning into the fake news. Stick with Real America's Voice.
It's Stacy from Texas. I watch Real America's Voice because I need to learn, and I know I can get the truth through RAV. God bless everyone, and always love the children. Amen.
Hello, all you Ravagers. I'm Billy Howell, your old buddy Carefree Largo from the chat, and I'm thrilled to be part of the Rav family. When I want to be heard, I use my Real America's Voice.
Hi, my name's Paul Foyer. I'm Foyer04 in the Getter Chat. I love Rav for all the Getter, all the War Room Posse, and all of you guys. Love y'all. Bye.
So President Trump wants a $1.7 billion fund for people who are victims of the weaponization of government. He gave up his lawsuit against the IRS so this fund could be put in place. The J6ers deserve it. Now remember, John Thune and the Senators put in a provision in one of the older bills. They wanted $500,000 if anybody wiretapped their phone calls. So the Senators can get $500,000, but J6ers and Americans who are victimized by government can't. John Thune appears to be sinking this entire plan. And President Trump said this, cut 2, please.
So we think that those people, we think that anybody involved in that process should partake. And you're talking about peanuts compared to the value. It destroyed the lives of many, many people. Thank you very much.
But then you get rhino senators, and I'm going to throw Thune in there. This Tom Tillis, he's awful. He was a huge go persecute every J6er on the planet. He said this about the fund, cut 4.
I think it's stupid on stilts.
Why?
Because it will invariably put us in a position where your taxpayer dollars and my taxpayer dollars could potentially compensate someone who assaulted a police officer, admitted their guilt, got convicted, got pardoned, and now we're going to pay them for that? That's absurd.
You know what I think? I think you're stupid on stilts. You lousy son of a mother scratcher. You really are, Tillis. I'm at the end of my rope with you. The people that assaulted police officers, that committed crimes, are not going to be eligible for this stuff. 99% of the J6ers who were persecuted, some thrown in the shoe, went to jail for a very long time, did nothing. Yet our tax dollars went to pay FBI agents who I believe broke the law putting these people in prison. Tom Tillis, you're a disgrace. You really are. All these senators. And now they go on vacation, by the way. They have this reconciliation bill that has to get done, and they skip out of town. Here's something else that needs to get done. We need to finally, once and for all, defund Planned Parenthood altogether. We control the House. We control the Senate. We've got the White House. Why can't Republicans do the one thing that nearly every strong conservative believes in? Taxpayer money should not be going to Planned Parenthood. Well, a letter was written to basically Congress and the Speaker by a coalition of more than 300 pro-life people, director of pro-life organizations, CEOs, big-time CEOs, including the founder and CEO of 7 Weeks Coffee. They give a lot of their money back, by the way, to mothers groups, to help them have babies, to save and preserve life. Well, that CEO's name is Anton Kresic. He is in the letter. He is also a very dear friend of mine. Anton, welcome to the program.
Grant, great to be on. Great to see you.
All right. It's great to see you, my friend. So you guys all get together and you write this letter. Tell me what basically the letter's about and what you'd like to see.
Yeah, we want to and this is really good information for your audience to know that on July 4th of this year, the day we celebrate 250 years of our country, celebrating life, liberty, the pursuit of happiness, we are set to refund the greatest killer of American lives, which is Planned Parenthood. And we are urging Congress to stop it. A year ago, in Trump's one big, beautiful bill, we defunded Planned Parenthood. It was a great success. Actually, 50 Planned Parenthoods, actually close to 70 now, have closed because of that. But it's set to be refunded. And it is absolutely one of the greatest stains in our country. I don't know how we can celebrate this amazing anniversary while simultaneously refunding the greatest killer of American lives. And so at 7 Weeks Coffee, we support over 1,200 pregnancy care centers. We give back 10% every sale, and we are representing them in a way by saying, hey, make your voices heard. And we sent this letter to the White House, to Congress, and we have a Republican Congress. So this should be a done deal. And it's really important that we do this before the July 4th deadline.
All right. I've known you a long time. This has been a big issue for you. How many years ago did you start 7 Weeks Coffee?
I started, so it'll be 5 years this fall. I started just with that idea to raise money for our local pregnancy resource center.
All right. I remember when you called me about this, and I thought, oh, my God, this kid's going to start a coffee company. Everybody's in coffee. And you told me you were going to put a portion of this back to these pregnancy centers. Do you mind telling in 5 years now what 7 Weeks has done, where you are? Do you mind even telling how much money you're making every year gross in just 5 years?
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. So I'll start with this. So 5 years ago, we sold $8,000 our first month. I dropped off a check for $800 at our local center. Fast forward today, we raised nearly $2 million, supporting over 1,200 organizations nationwide. We're selling millions of dollars of coffee every year, simply because pro-life Americans want to support life and support pregnancy resource centers. They are the hands and feet of the movement. So we're just grateful for people's support, obviously. And we're here just to represent the local pregnancy resource center and to empower them. 0.2% of all charitable donations grant goes to a pro-life group. So we're trying to make a difference. We want to donate millions of dollars to this cause. They're actually the real organizations that are supporting women and children and families, not Planned Parenthood. So we're excited to keep supporting them and also truly make our voice heard. So Planned Parenthood is not refunded.
One of the reasons why I think this is an important story, I'm going to reiterate it again, folks. Anton calls me 5 years ago with $1 and a dream, basically. Now you're doing millions of dollars in coffee sold. You donated $2 million already to Planned Parenthood. For young people out there,
Planned Parenthood.
Excuse me. Yeah, to anti-Planned Parenthood, these pregnancy centers. Excuse me on that. Thank you for correcting me. $2 million to these pregnancy centers. For a young person out there who wants to start a business and do well, you can do both, can't you? You can donate and do well.
Yeah, there's a millions of consumers that have felt alienated over the years. I mean, we've seen Starbucks, we've seen the LGBTQ agenda they have, the pride flag in the window. People don't like giving, their hard-earned dollars to companies that hate them. And so we're an alternative for that. When I had the idea, there really was no such thing as a pro-life coffee company. Yeah. So we're just stepping into the gap and, really providing consumers with excellent coffee too. So it's going to be anything much better than what you're used to. Direct trade, mold-free, pesticide-free, all the good stuff, but also representing the most important issue of our time, the life issue.
Tell people your website.
Yeah, 7weekscoffee.com if you're interested in supporting life, and we'd love to have you join our movement.
All right. Anton Kresik, thank you so much. And I urge people to go to the website, check them out, and what a great cause. Anton, say hi to your entire family for me. Thank you.
Awesome.
You got it, buddy. All right, folks, listen to me. There is a great project going on. You've heard me talk about it. It's Lost Soldier Oil and Gas, 40,000 acres in Wyoming's Bison Basin region. Stacked formations of natural gas. The CEO believes this may be the largest domestic natural gas discovery in literally decades. You have a chance to be a part of this. Now, you have to be an accredited investor. But here's what you do. You go to lostsoldier.com lostsoldier.com. Click on the Invest Now button, fill out the form, and a member of the team will get back to you. You can, of course, scan the QR code as well. There is a stock play in this. You'd get stock in the company. There is a royalty play in all this and a huge tax advantage thanks to the big, beautiful bill. If you want to learn more about this, go to lostsoldier.com. That's lostsoldier.com and tell them Grant Stinchfield sent you. All right, body language is up next. Our favorite segment. We'll do that next with Greg Hartley. Stick around. But first, make sure you download Aaron Lewis's new song, Give My Country Back, on iTunes. Check it out.
If you don't like my country, you can give my country back. I don't mind you leaving, hell, I'll leave and help you pack. Take a bus, a plane, a truck, a train to where they like the way you act. 'Cause if you don't like my country, you can give my country back.
Are you tired of watching people come into this country only to mock it, burn the flag, and tear down everything America stands for? Tired of politicians who seem to hate the very country they were elected to represent? Then it's time to send a message loud enough for the whole country to hear. Country artist Aaron Lewis is fighting back with Give My Country Back. So let's run it straight to #1 on the charts. Scan the QR code to download the song now, or search Give My Country Back on iTunes. The left is gonna hate this one.
If you don't like my country, you can kiss my country ass.
This is a bottlenose dolphin, and this is the breakthrough nutrient doctors discovered.
Faith in Freedom by Real America's music artist Celeste Kellogg. It's a powerful, patriotic anthem for people who still love God, country, and freedom. Rav family, let's send a message to the music industry that we are proud to be Americans. Scan the QR code now to download the song, or search Faith in Freedom on iTunes today. Come on, family. Let's get Celeste Kellogg to #1.
Hi, my name is Tracy L. from Arizona. I don't stink around in the kitchen when it comes to the news. I watch Real America's Voice, which always serves accurate and reliable updates that are on point with their amazing hosts. So don't find yourself in a pickle by tuning into the fake news. Stick with Real America's Voice.
It's Stacy from Texas. I watch Real America's Voice because I need to learn, and I know I can get the truth through Rav. God bless everyone, and always love the children. Amen.
Hello, all you Ravagers. I'm Billy Howell, your old buddy Carefree Largo from the chat, and I'm thrilled to be part of the Rav family. When I want to be heard, I use my Real America's Voice.
Hi, my name's Paul Foyer. I'm Foyer04 in the Getter Chat. I love rap for all the Getter, all the War Room Posse, and all of you guys. Love y'all. Bye.
everyone. Time now for the body language segment, my favorite of the week. Host of the Behavior Panel on YouTube, former military interrogator, now body language and behavior expert, Greg Hartley is back with us. Greg, welcome to the program.
Thanks, Grant. Always my pleasure.
All right, Greg, so we created a theme today, politicians responding to basically reporters. Let's roll the first one. This is the San Diego mayor after that mosque shooting, and a member of the Muslim community is yelling and screaming at him. Roll it. Greg?
So, Grant, your team has picked some really good videos to talk about conflict style. What this guy's doing is avoidance. That's the only thing he can do in this particular case. And this works best when you really don't care about the relationship and you just have a message to deliver and you want to come out and do it. You can see he's got stress and there's fight or flight because his eyes are narrowed, and you might say it's the sun, but look around him. Nobody else's eyes are narrowed. And then you get to see he's locked down. He's got his hands in front of his groin in protection in what we call the fig leaf. He even grooms the inside of his mouth as an adapter. And then he rolls his eyes, purses his lips, and breathes out. This is a good way to avoid conflict. However, if you have a relationship you need to maintain, what you should do is stop, give the person about 30 seconds of silence. It will seem like an eternity, and then say, I can tell you're upset. What do we have to do to get past this? It puts you in charge and gives you control of the situation.
Yeah, you know, it's funny, Greg. We played this earlier in the week. I actually called this guy a wussbag leader. This person's yelling ridiculousness at him. I would have gone completely opposite of what you did. I would have gone back at this person.
Well, I think he came to say something, and if he wanted to say that, he's probably not going to get to. I would have said, shut her up. You know, I would have done something like that. There's another way. Yeah. J.D. Vance does a great job in this next one of shutting somebody down. I think it's other ways to do it.
Let's play J.D. Vance. So Caitlin Collins, who is a thorn in the administration side nonstop, she goes after him about that. President Trump says, hey, he's not worried about the people's pocketbook. When it comes to Iran, we don't want them to have a nuclear weapon. I got the point. Apparently, Caitlin Collins doesn't. Roll it.
You last week denied that the president said he was not taking Americans' financial situations into consideration when he's making decisions on the Iran war. He was asked about that again. He stood by it, called it a perfect statement, and said he would make it again. Do you believe that Americans' financial situations should be taken into consideration when you're making decisions as an administration about the war?
See, Caitlin, what you did is you misrepresented the question that I was asked, and then you misrepresented the answer that I gave.
Greg?
So because Vance is masterful at not getting into the mud, he doesn't allow people to drag him into the mud. He could probably handle the woman who was just there. But if you know you can't engage her. What he did with Collins here is to restate the facts that she had gotten wrong, passionately gotten wrong, and just say, here's what we're going to talk about. Watch him, because his whole brain, everything about his body is punctuating and saying what he's thinking, which tells us what I always tell you, mind, mouth, and body are all speaking the same language. So he's not in fight or flight. He's got no increased barriers, no change in cadence, no change in pitch. His tone goes to telling when he says you misrepresented, and he's in charge. He's in charge of the situation. He just dismantled it. And you quote Mark Twain, never argue with an idiot. They'll beat you down to their level and win with experience. He just did that.
This is so true. Is there something to him when he sits up and sticks his chest out right before he...
Yeah, that's confrontation body language. You see his face show a little bit of disgust, a little bit of disdain for her when she's saying that, because he knows she's got it wrong. He sees curl, the brow furl, and then he raises up in preparation for going at her.
Yeah, really interesting. All right, so this next one is talking to Karen Bass she's the mayor of LA, about why she hasn't ended homelessness.
We're not close to ending it. How are you so off?
Well, basically, when I said that, it was at the beginning of my term. I am very committed to achieving that goal. I didn't anticipate some of the bureaucratic barriers that I would experience, but I am prepared to take those on now.
Another strategy that works best if you got true believers watching you, because you and I look at her and go, what the hell is she talking about? But with true believers watching her, what she just did was a violent agreement statement. So she took away all of his ammunition. If that's his only fight, she just took it away, saying, yeah, I didn't do it, and here's why. And if you watch her, she's taking away the teeth. She redirects the conversation. If people that are watching you are not true believers, they'll think you're an idiot. Well, there you go. Yeah. But she's nodding and smiling to keep him talking. And then she does long vowels when she's saying basically, when she's trying to shift gears.
It almost reminds me of what I tell them, and my crew will tell you that I say this all the time. If you screw it up, just apologize. This is to your boss, not necessarily on TV. I go a different route on TV. I never apologize for anything. I really don't. But at work, just tell your boss, I'm sorry. And you know what? There's nothing the boss can say. There's nothing left.
Violent agreement's a beautiful thing. It disarms the worst argument they have, because you're like, yeah, I am an idiot, so what am I going to do?
All right, this is good. Graham Plattner, radical leftist, running for Senate in Maine. He's got a Nazi tattoo. He had all these vulgar statements this week. Bunch of Democrats don't want to answer if they still support him. Here's the reporter asking them.
Mr. Leader, is Graham Plattner a liability for Democrats after those lewd Reddit posts were exposed?
I haven't seen those posts.
Senator, is Graham Plattner a liability right now for Democrats after those Reddit posts, the lewd posts that just were revealed? Senator, do you rescind your endorsement of Graham Plattner after those lewd posts on Reddit?
Yeah.
All right, Greg, I'm a little short on time, but quickly.
Yeah, I'll make it quick. This looks like they had a strategy, and that was not to do anything. Look at Schumer. He's perfect at not doing anything. She isn't. She looks excited and then turns, and you see her face melt. But Jeffries goes, you can see he's doing something emotional, and he looks down to his right, and he touches his mouth. He's thinking something, and then he does something Jeffries always does. I haven't seen it. So I think he missed the memo of being quiet and just avoiding it.
It's great stuff. Greg Hartley, you're always doing great stuff for us. We appreciate it. Thank you for coming on tonight.
Pleasure.
Absolutely. All right. And you go to Greg's website, readbodylanguage.com. And, of course, his YouTube show, The Behavior Panel. And, of course, we thank Greg for his service to this country as we come up on Memorial Day to remember and salute all those who lost their lives in battle for us. All right. We are far from the April 15th deadline, but if you still owe money, we have a solution for you. That's next.
This is Fubo. It's your way to watch ESPN and other top sports networks.
Faith in Freedom by Real America's music artist Celeste Kellogg. It's a powerful, patriotic anthem for people who still love God, country, and freedom. Rav family, let's send a message to the music industry that we are proud to be Americans. Scan the QR code now to download the song, or search Faith in Freedom on iTunes today. On, family. Let's get Celeste Kellogg to #1.
Hi, my name is Tracy L. from Arizona. I don't stink around in the kitchen when it comes to the news. I watch Real America's Voice, which always serves accurate and reliable updates that are on point with their amazing hosts. So don't find yourself in a pickle by tuning into the fake news. Stick with Real America's Voice.
It's Stacy from Texas. I watch Real America's Voice because I need to learn, and I know I can get the truth through Rav. God bless everyone, and always love the children. Amen.
Hello, all you Ravagers. I'm Billy Howell, your old buddy Carefree Largo from the chat, and I'm thrilled to be part of the Rav family. When I want to be heard, I use my Real America's Voice.
Hi, My name's Paul Poyer. I'm Poyer04 in the Getter Chat. I love rap for all the Getter, all the War Room Posse, and all of you guys. Love y'all. Bye.
Question for you, and I want you to be honest with me. Did you file your taxes? We're now a ways past tax deadline. Some of you, we won't name names, owe money still for a while. Well, we have a solution for you. It's Tax Network USA. They've helped so many of our Real America's Voice viewers. Cameron Kinsey is our good friend. She's back to help you out. Cameron, welcome to the program.
Thanks for having me, Grant. Good to see you again.
It's good to see you. Cameron, if you haven't filed yet, what should people be doing, especially if they owe a lot of money and this is going back a few years?
Yeah, we get this question all the time, and so many of our callers are too embarrassed to say their whole financial situation. They don't know what options are available for them. And the truth is, Grant, there are a lot of options available, but the IRS isn't going to do free advertisement for those options. And that's why it's so important to have a professional team in your corner like Tax Network USA. We have CPAs, licensed tax attorneys, even former IRS agents who just know the tax code inside and out, know what resources are directly available to help for your specific case. And we also act as a liaison between you and the IRS. We know how burdensome this time can be for people. This deadline has passed. They know that those penalties, that interest is just going to start compounding daily. And, we know how debilitating that is. So we really just try to take that weight off your shoulders and basically act as that middleman for you.
How difficult is it for someone to try to do this on their own?
I mean, it's very, very difficult because, again, the average person doesn't know the tax code inside and out. I mean, I can tell you firsthand, I don't know the tax code inside and out. That's why it's so important to have these licensed attorneys, again, former IRS agents who know their tactics, know how they're going to try to take your hard-earned money out of your pocket. And so, again, that's why it's so important. We go over all the necessary documentation for you. If you don't have all the necessary financial documents in place, we can help gather those for you as well. There's just so many options available for our RAV listeners. We're still upholding that free consultation where we deep dive into your financial picture a little bit more, and the free investigative call as well. We can see if an IRS agent has been assigned to your case, what that looks like, etc. We're still upholding that too. So it's really important to take advantage of these resources right now, especially as the deadline has passed and we need to get ahead of this real soon.
Yeah. All right, it's Tax Network USA is the name of the company, and the address is on the screen right there, tnusa.com/RAV. So many people that have problems have small businesses, and the books can be complicated and all of those things. You help those people, too. This is not just for individuals, correct?
No, we help business owners, gig workers, you name it, retirees. And again, this is serious because payroll taxes are not treated like normal tax debt. Grant, those, if those aren't paid, the IRS can hit business owners with what's called the trust fund recovery penalty, which is 100% of the unpaid payroll taxes. And what a lot of people don't realize in this situation is that doesn't just stay with the business, that then becomes personal. So the IRS can go after your personal bank accounts, your assets, even your future income at that point. And so it's not just a business issue anymore. It becomes a personal financial risk very quickly. And Grant, we know that small business owners are the backbone of this country. My dad is a small business owner as well. So we do try to take care of those individuals as well.
Yeah. Look, the tax code, there's no doubt about it, is very complicated. And people get behind it. Sometimes they don't have the right advice along the way. That's what Tax Network USA is there to fix all that. And they can do it fairly quickly. But time is of the essence. You don't want to let this fester, Cameron, do you?
No, you don't. And a lot of people, they get afraid because they don't have the money right out of pocket. You know, they don't file because they don't have the money. The worst thing that somebody could do is panic, not file, try to ignore it completely and stuff those letters in a drawer, hoping that it goes away. And that's really when the problem spirals. And the IRS, again, does have programs in place for people who genuinely can't afford to pay their full balance. I would like to note that. That could look like installment agreements. We could help you with that. Currently not collectible status, where collections are temporarily paused. Some cases you may qualify for offers and compromise, where that debt can be reduced. Innocent spouse relief. There are plenty of options available. But again, none of these are automatic. They're based on your full financial picture and how that is presented to them. So that's why having professionals in your corner matters, not just having doing this on your own, because one misstep, one missing document can potentially cost you hundreds, if not thousands of dollars in this situation.
Well, I know so many of our viewers say such great things about Tax Network USA. We appreciate you coming in and informing us about it, Cameron Kinsey. I'll tell people how they can get started. Thank you for coming on. Here's what you can do, folks. Go to tnusa.com/RAV. That's tnusa.com/RAV, or call 1-800-905-8000. That's 1-800-905-8000 and get the help you deserve. All right. Social media grifters are breaking bread with the enemy. We'll talk about that next.
Freedom by Real America's music artist Celeste Kellogg. It's a powerful, patriotic anthem for people who still love God, country, and freedom. RAV family, let's send a message to the music industry that we are proud to be Americans. Scan the QR code now to download the song, or search Faith in Freedom on iTunes today. Come on, family. Let's get Celeste Kellogg to #1.
Hi, my name is Tracy L. from Arizona. I don't stink around in the kitchen when it comes to the news. I watch Real America's Voice, which always serves accurate and reliable updates that are on point with their amazing hosts. So don't find yourself in a pickle by tuning into the fake news. Stick with Real America's Voice.
It's Stacy from Texas. I watch Real America's Voice because I need to learn, and I know I can get the truth through RAV. God bless everyone, and always love the children. Amen.
Hello, all you Ravagers. I'm Billy Howell, your old buddy Carefree Largo from the chat, and I'm thrilled to be part of the RAV family. When I want to be heard, I use my Real America's Voice.
Going with it. Introducing Main Street America, hosted by Eric Bolling. A brand new live series broadcasting from the heart of America. The businesses, restaurants, landmarks, and gathering places that make this country special.
It's rocking, it's moving. Awesome, awesome place.
The final Friday of every month, Eric Bolling takes you coast to coast for a happy hour style celebration of the people, places, food, and patriotism that define the American spirit, all leading up to America's 250th birthday. And it all begins May 29th, live from the Villages, Florida at City Fire from 4 to 5 p.m. Eastern.
You need to be here.
Be part of the live audience. Tickets are limited, so scan the QR code now to reserve your spot. Main Street America. Real people, real places, real America.
Welcome back, everyone. I'll tell you what, Candace Owens, she knows how to get clicks and likes, that's for sure. She had Hunter Biden on. In some respects, I'm jealous. I would interview Hunter Biden in a heartbeat. I don't think I'd be as nice as she was, though. Watch this.
Sheer evil versus good.
By the way,
this is like sheer evil.
But by the way, we're real.
Exactly.
I'm
exactly. It is good versus evil.
Yeah.
It is they have torn the mask off of this. I said to you before, is that I pray to God that by the end of this, that you think of me as a friend.
Oh, give me a break. Have you heard the things she said about you before she became whatever she is now? I mean, good versus evil. Hunter Biden, you and your family. The Biden family is literally evil, though I've always said I believe Hunter Biden was a victim. A lot of my friends disagree. He was a crack addict, sex fiend that his dad sent into the bowels of wolves, okay? What kind of father is that? Anyway, we could do whole shows on, oh, wait, we did that.